Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Saturday. I hope that you will have a lovely weekend to spend time with family and friends. And as promised, in today's video, I am going to share with you some more holiday greeting card tutorials so that you can have some ideas to make your own Christmas card to give to friends and family since the holiday season is approaching. First, let's talk about the supplies that I will be using today. I will be using two brushes today, one number 8 and number 4, and they both Princeton round brush. And for paint, I will be using my Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor pens as always. You may see it as a new palette, but the pen is still the same Winsor & Newton that I always be using in all my videos. And you will need a cup of water to rinse off the brushes in between. Since I will show you two different Christmas card designs today, so I will have two blank greeting card, and they both stress more, and they both are 5 by 7 inches. And for watercolor paper, I will be using two different watercolor paper as well. This is just a personal reference, you can use whatever you want. One is Archie's cold press, then this one I will cut to the size of the blank greeting card so that I can stick to the front page. And the other one is the hot press fluid watercolor paper, and this one I will cut it slightly smaller than the size of the greeting card, so when I stick onto the front page you will see that I will have like a border. And here is the close-up of the watercolor paper so that you can see the difference between the cold press and hot press watercolor paper. You can see that the cold press on the left is more texture and the hot press on the right is very smooth, have a very smooth surface. Since today we will do some sort of winter bouquet, so the first thing I want to show you is how to paint the different elements so that you can put them together into the bouquet. And not only this is a helpful practice to warm up before actually painting on the watercolor paper, but once you know how to paint these elements, you can use these to design your own Christmas card as well. And now I am starting to mix some colors. I want to have some green, so I will have sap greens mixing with some yellow ochre to have some variation. And for the cool green, I will pick up some Viridian green mixing with some ultramarine to darken it a little bit. And also some brown for the branches and red to paint some berry. So this one I picked up from a park when I was taking a walk the other day, and I think that it looked very similar to the olive tree, but I really don't think it is olive tree. My husband has no idea what it is, but I think that it looks very similar to olive tree, so I will look at it and then paint the first greenery today, and let's call it olive because it looks very similar. So if you notice that if you looked at the reference picture on the internet, you will see that the olive leaf, they have a very rounded shape. So as you can see, this is how I paint the olive trees, and I use the warm sap green that I have mixed earlier for this. And when you look at this, you will see that you will wonder why the color is so light. But don't worry, this is just the first layer. We will add another layer of leaf with a darker value, so that this one gonna have more depth. And now I am picking up some red to paint some berries. You can paint some couple spots on the blends, and berries are so easy to paint. As you can see, I just put a little dot, that's it. And you may want to leave a little tiny white spot on the berry to be the highlight. And now I go back to put in some more darker red on the berries to make some shades so that the berry looks more some sort of like 3D and more depth. And I will do the same for the leaf as well. I go back and put more dark greens on a certain spot of the leaves. And that's it, we have an olive. It's quite easy. And the next one we're gonna paint is the pine leaf. And this one is even more simple and easier. So as you can see, I start with a stem. And from that stem, I will paint the lines on two sides of the stem. And remember, at the top it's getting smaller and it's getting bigger and bigger at the bottom. I also use the same colors, the warm green, which is a sap greens, mixing with a little bit of yellow for this pine leaf, and the same, I will add some more dark green, which is the sap greens. You can mix it with either brown or dark blue to darken the green, and layer it so that it can have different in value. And yeah, that's it. We have pine leaf. And for the third one, we will be painting actually, I don't have a name for this one. This is just the leaf that I saw on the bouquet that I bought the other day. It looked like a fern, so let's just call it a fern. And for this leaf, you can see that it's slightly different from the olive leaf, that it has a pointed shape. And for this one, I am using a cool tone green, which is the variety mixing with blue, ultramarine blue. So later on, when we put all of them together in the bouquet, we will have a different green tones, and I think that will make the bouquet look more interesting and organic. And again, you see me that I always start with the lightest value, and later on I pick up some more darker and layer on top of it, and also pick up the darkest one to add some shade. By this way, our blend's gonna have some more depth, and when we look at it, it's gonna look more like 3D and more realistic. And the next one will be cedar leaf, and this one is also very easy as well. It's like a mini version of the pine leaf that we painted earlier, but it is smaller and it has a different stems that pointed toward different direction. And for this one, I also used the cool tone green, the same one that we used for the fern that we just painted. And now we just finished painting cedar leaf. That's so quick. And for the next one, we will be painting pine cone. And I also picked up the real pine cone from the park that we walked the other day. And as you can see, I have another pine cone as well, and they are in the two different shapes. One of them I often see in the store, but the other ones I think that's the first time that I see, so I'm gonna use both of them for the reference. And for the color, I will be using the reddish brown, and also I will darken the brown by mixing it with a little bit of ocean marine. So we have a darker brown, and I'll be using both of them for the pine cone. As you can see, to paint a pine cone, I'm just gonna use the tip of my brush to make a little brush strokes like what I'm painting right now, and also pick up a different brown, reddish brown and grayish brown for the pine cone. I am just notice the shape of the pine cone and then use the brushstroke to make up the shape. That's it. And we're not really going for realism here. Maybe we make it to look more like 3D and realistic by adding different value, but I'm not gonna put too much detail on it because this is just simply an illustration, and I think that it looks more interesting this way. And for this one, I think that it is much smaller than the other one, so I guess it's like a baby pine cone, and I'm gonna look at it and just draw accordingly. So have a shape first and then fill up with the colors. For this one, I know that this has more like the reddish brown, so I'm gonna use the reddish browns for this one. And while waiting for this one to be dry, I will go back with the other pine cone and add more darker value. Okay, if you notice this one, you can see that they have like a little pattern here, and I'm just gonna mimic that one. It's like a scallop line, and you can use the also the brow to draw the lines. No need to be too perfect. It's just like something to represent the pattern, and also have a little dot in the middle. It's like the pine cone has a little eyes on it. And also go back to add some more shade for the pine cones as well. And there you go. These are all the winter greenery that you will need to make a beautiful Christmas card. It's quite easy, huh? And now we're gonna use all these elements to put them into a bouquet. But I know that sometimes it's gonna get nervous, and we're gonna be afraid to mess up when we start on a blank page and we don't know where to start and where to put what. So here's a little tip that I want to share with you guys. What I'm doing is that I just cut each element out and make them like a little stickers like what you're seeing here, and after that I will start to assemble them together in different composition to see which one I like the best. And for the one that I like, I will use my phone to take a picture and then look at it and paint accordingly. I really enjoy doing this way. I think it works well for me. It's not gonna take you too much time. It's just a little time to cut out different elements, but later on it's allow you to play around with different composition without doing too much work. Okay, now we have the first design here. This is gonna be the composition that I'm gonna go for, and for this one I'm gonna use the hot press watercolor paper, and I'm gonna do it in the landscape format. And yeah, so we already did the hardest part, I think, is to choose the best composition. And now I just kind of paint following the reference picture that I took earlier. And I will just repeat the same elements that we did together in the beginning. And I will share with you everything I need. So there's not much else to say. Now I'm gonna let you enjoy the music and watch the whole process. now we finished the first one. I am going to start the second greeting card. For this size, I think that is much easier than first one in the terms that we don't have to think much about the composition, because we're gonna do just kind of border on two corners of the paper. And that's it. It's kind of simple and minimalist. So yeah, just enjoy and watch the whole process. And voila, this is 2 Christmas card design for today. And I think that it's not really difficult once you already know how to paint all the elements that we put into these 2 designs. And I also add a couple more details, like an ornament, some more snowdrop by adding whitewash, and the border. That's it, and the messages as well. So you can follow these designs if you like, or you just simply just use the watercolor and paint all the elements and no need to add any more detail if you kind of like the tidy, neat, and minimalistic look. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That would help my channel grow, and subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna post video every Saturday. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend and be safe, stay cozy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.